Hello, kitten. Welcome back. This is Seb the Cat. One moment, I've just got a problem with my audio. Fantastic. Cool. So, today's stream is going to be a little bit different than my previous streams. I've just figured out how to get my audio production workflow to work with streaming. So I figured out how to route my audio through OBS, and so I can still get a high quality monitoring through my headphones and still work on music. So today we're going to take a little bit of a break from game development and start to look at our theme music, because our theme music is running in the background of the game the whole time. It's sort of what's going to be running in the trailer. If we put a trailer together, it's kind of important, and I'd like to just have a play around and see where we can get in a short time. So right now it is 11 a.m. and we've got until roughly 1 p.m. to produce our track, at which point I'll be taking a break, and then we'll be jumping back in at 2 p.m. to start working on the game itself. Alright, so I'm going to show you where I'm at with the music. So over the weekend I threw together a little ditty in Guitar Pro. I really love Guitar Pro. It's a fantastic tablature writing application. It allows you to write music with numbers, and that makes it a lot easier to type things in with the keyboard. So I really love it. It exports both audio tracks and MIDI tracks, and we will be exporting this song out of Guitar Pro and into Logic in a wee while. I'd like to just run through the song and the little pieces of it and just describe sort of how I put the song together. It's not great. I think I wrote the main melody and pretty much did the majority of the writing within just a few hours, and then I've added a few tweaks here and there, but it's relatively simple. I was going through for a sort of 80s vibe, right? So if you imagine Back to the Future meets Björk or Enya, that sort of like spacey reverb feel, but also that sort of Knight Rider bassy synth 80s sort of style. I don't know if I nailed it or not. You can tell me in the chat. So I'm just going to, before we listen to the whole thing, I'm just going to run through the constituent parts of the song. So I think I started with the bass, maybe not that bass. So we've got two different basses for different sounds. So this is the bass line. It's really, really simple. Most of the melody and rhythm of this song is based on a dotted eighth note, and then a non-dotted normal eighth note, and then so dotted, dotted, not dotted, 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 not dotted. So it's like dun 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 dun, dun, right? That sort of like pulse. I'll let you hear how that sounds. Right, so that's the underlying bass of most of the song. We're doing very small variations on this. So you can see that double dash underneath there is like a tremolo picking style. So you can actually hear this is clipping a little bit. And I think we might need to turn that level down a bit and maybe turn the volume up so it's not clipping. And then you can see when the bass line develops, we just remove that eighth note. And I think the chorus is actually the same bass line. So this muted bass is the first track I actually wrote, just to get that feeling of the bass. And it doesn't really change a lot until this section here. At the end of the chorus, we have some triplets, and you would never play this on a real bass guitar, but I just threw it in for some variation. And that actually transitions into our modulation. So we go up to a G major. So I think we're in a B minor at the beginning, and then we transition up into a G major. So then once I had that bass line, I built upon it with some octaves. So I might just bring up my keyboard view down here, and you can see. Oh no, so we're not actually. We're playing the thirds, but like an octave higher. And when you're doing bass, like you never want to be playing like the third there. You want to give it some space because bass notes get crowded very easily. And so once we built upon that original bass line, it was very like it's a muted sort of plucky sound. And so this gives it a little bit more body. So you'll hear. Oh, that's the intro, but. Yeah, that's actually a melody. But like here, it goes back to the normal. So it's essentially the same bass line in most of the song, but there is a little bit of a change here at the beginning. So this is sort of just a rapid flurry of notes, but it's essentially just the same chord. I'm thinking I might actually put a vocoder. Use this section as a vocoder and put my voice through these notes and make it like robot and sort of do some sort of introduction there. So this is what that would sound. I might turn this up a bit. Cool. All right. So that's essentially how the bass works. The drums. So the drums start off quite simple. We'll go into the chorus of the drums later. And then the melody of the song is carried by this electric piano. Wait, we'll. So it's just playing quite simple songs. And then this is the main melody of the song. It's quite repetitive. It's not particularly complex. But for a video game, it's quite rhythmic. And it's kind of catchy, I'll be honest. I find myself humming this melody quite a bit. So I'm not dissatisfied with it. In fact, we might want to put some strum patterns on these notes because it's sort of all hitting your ear at once here. Let's say maybe halfway between there. See how that sounds? That sounds nice, okay. And then the verse is essentially the chorus melody, but with notes removed, right? I didn't really have time to write a verse. So I sort of selected the most important notes of the melody and just kept those. And that gives that verse a little bit of space to breathe without having to write a whole new piece. of music for that. And it just goes back into the chorus, right? We do a little bit of a modal, just a modulation here. As we got 4 semitones. So I decided to go 4 semitones. That's a major third. Sorry, mouse is sticking a little bit. So going up a major third from a minor into a relative major scale is going to give that like middle section sort of a really bright and happy turn. Because we sort of start off a bit spooky, a little bit Stranger Things, minor. And I think there are some Lydian notes in there as well. So we've gone over. What's happening here? I see what's happening. Okay, yeah. Cool. And I might just make sure that, that's going to be too slow. I might just bring that back up like that. Alright, so that's sort of the electric piano, and that holds most of the melody. And then this lead synthesizer is kind of just giving, I'm sort of using it as a pad. It's kind of plucky, but then when we go into the chorus, it's just sort of playing notes. Right, not a lot happening there. In the bridge, I can't remember what it's doing in the bridge. Right, so nothing particularly interesting. So finally, let's just look at the percussion. I'm not going to go through the build-ups and things, but the chorus